All the athletes are weighed and height is taken for the classic physique division. There are more questions remaining. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. With the weigh-ins for the classic physique done, Mike Sommerfeld did make the weight. He did not weigh in at 212. He made the weight at 204, indicating that he was not measured at the height he had been previously measured for the Olympia, and not for, I was going to say the Arnold, but the Olympia was supposed to be, when they hired them at the Olympia, that was supposed to be permanent, go on their pro card, and they wouldn't have to be hired again. So the Arnold, they weren't measured. It was just assumed that they were the height that they were measured at the Olympia. Obviously, that wasn't the case, and he had to come in at 204. Now, he knew what his height was because he hit the scales at 204. They knew a few days prior what the situation was, and they knew that he, in reality, was not tall enough. Neil Hill went on a rant about this change with the IFBB. After all, like I said, at the weigh-in at the Olympia last year, those were supposed to be final heights for their pro cards. That changed after all the commotion surrounding Mike Sommerfeld. The IFBB wants to clear up any misunderstandings. Neil Hill was very vocal about how he was opposed to it, but he was very careful in how he worded things, not to step on the toes of the IFBB. In fact, complimenting them on a couple of occasions. Neil, you know what Mike's height really was. If his height wasn't an issue, if it didn't matter, if this was a moot point, you wouldn't go through that rant. You and Mike knew what your height was. That's why he came in and he weighed in at the lower weight, 204. How that's going to affect him on stage, we'll see. Probably by the time this video gets up, he would have already been on stage. Now, the problem with the weigh-in and the measuring, we were led to believe that it would be totally transparent. The people that are watching the pay-per-view would be seeing it. No, they did not see it. The other athletes did not see it. The people were weighed and measured behind curtains, so there really wasn't a lot of transparency. My first question is, oh, by the way, a number of athletes, I believe 10, did not make the weight. Just so happens none of them would have been in any contention for winning. My first issue is, how much difference was Mike's height here as compared to last year? If it was just it was off by a very small amount, just slightly off, that's one thing. You can accept it. You can deal with that. But Mike was supposed to be, if I got my figures correct, over 9. Anything over 5'9" to be capped out at 212. Below that, 5'9" or below, you had to be 204. It's reported that he might be as short as 5'7", even if he's 5'8". And it was an inch difference between what he was measured at last year and this year. Even an inch is not acceptable. That is way too much. Totally unacceptable. I think it was held behind uh, curtains, closed doors, if you would, because they did not want to see what the difference might have actually been with Mike's measurements from last year to this year. Like I said, if it's an inch or even potentially more, there's no excuse whatsoever. That looks very bad for the IFBB. Now, done like this, we know Mike didn't make the weight for the height that he's been measured at previously. He came in at 204. It'll all pass and we'll forget about it, and things will be done much more meticulously in the future. That's all well and good. But I still want to know what Mike actually measured at. Because if it was a big discrepancy, whoever was in charge at the Olympia for measuring the heights needs to be held accountable. Now we have to look in the future how we're going to go about hiding everyone. There should be some procedure, some method where there is a permanent height, but it has to be done under a very controlled situation. Mike Sommerfeld made the weight limit for his height, which wasn't what it was last year. Unfortunately, we did not get to see what his height was, and when he was asked, I don't believe he was very willing to say it. How are we going to move forward in the future? And are the people that were responsible for mishiding him previously, would they be held accountable? Last thing, if Mike is obviously not the height that he was listed at for the Olympia last year, if he would have had to make the proper weight, would he have placed where he placed? If not, we're talking about a substantial difference in prize money. Then we got the Arnold. They didn't hide him there because he was listed on his pro card as a certain height, but obviously he didn't compete at the Arnold at the weight he legitimately was supposed to compete at. Would he have won there if he would have weighed the proper weight? If not, once again, we're talking about a substantial amount of money that potentially he shouldn't have earned. There's still a lot of problems with this. I just want to see where it goes from here. Whether they just let this blow over and just try to deal with it on a different way in the future, or they're gonna take action for the wrong that has occurred. You can agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video. Either way, let me know in the comments section. This is Michael Diamond. I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.